Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. It's so good to see everybody's happy faces. I guess my first question is, how many of you feel like your hormones, that you may be having a hormonal imbalance in this room? Yay! So today, real quick, what I wanted to share with you was just some simple things that you can do to help balance your hormones naturally. It's a very complex system. Your hormones are chemical messengers that affect a lot of different areas in your body, including your weight. Obviously, that's a big one. Growth, development, your metabolism, sex drive. I know somebody mentioned that the other day. Fertility for both women and men. Your mood, irritability. Sleep, that's a big one. I hear a lot of people with night sweats, insomnia, your hair loss, thinning, having skin issues coming up, and fatigue, feeling that constant fatigue. So she was right, this is all, it's not just of a certain period in your time. So from PMS to perimenopause onto menopause, hormonal ups and downs can really wreak havoc on your body. So as I have dived into this subject, I have found some things that have really helped not only myself, but a lot of my clients. And I'm also a detox specialist, and I find that honestly cleaning up your diet, that they kind of go hand in hand. So that's the cool thing, is that we can actually do some things naturally that will help you balance those hormones. So what I wanted to share with you were some of the big ones. So pumping up the fat. So I am going to age myself here, but I grew up in the fat-free age where I felt very, I would eat my Snackwell cookies. They were fat-free, so they were okay, or my Twizzlers. I was like, oh, but they're fat-free. Everything needed to be fat-free. And so throughout all my studies, I had to come and embrace the good fats. And I used to be scared of eating avocados because that was green butter. And coconut oil was very demonized for many years. But these are a couple of the things that I think are very important for hormonal health, is pumping up the fat, so the good fats, such as coconut oil and avocados. But eating a variety of the short, medium, and long chain fatty acids is important. So I think everybody's kind of on that bandwagon, but embrace the good fats. It's not only good for your brain, but it's also really good for hormonal health. Hydration, yep, I'm a water pusher. Lisa knows I've had the honor of working with Lisa as well as Kristen, and so I'm a water pusher. Any kind of hydration is fantastic, but basically that's another one that's really going to help make you a little more juicy and help a lot of hormonal, help them balance your hormones. Okay, big one, sleep. So a lot of this is you'll start getting issues with maybe night sweats or insomnia. Many people suffer from that, but getting sleep is so important. And I know that we're so on the go. But this is one of those where if the ideal time to go to bed would be 10, and what I find with a lot of my clients is that, you know, they have kids and they have busy schedules, and by the time they put everybody to bed, they need their own downtime. Thus, they stay up and, you know, with social media or watching TV or reading, or that's all good stuff. But wanting to just, you know, really focus on the more hours of sleep, solid sleep you get, that's going to help with your hormonal balance, as well as weight gain and weight loss. Like that's another one that affects it. And just in general, don't we all feel a little like scattered when we haven't had any sleep? Everything seems much more high anxiety. So just really, if you can try to, what I always suggest to people is just trying to go to bed 15 minutes earlier than your normal. Let's say if you're a night owl, just taking the small little baby steps and doing a 15-minute increment week to week. You don't have to do everything all at once. But this really will help with your adrenal health. Oh, okay, the bad news, caffeine. Caffeine is one of those where I usually have to be the messenger that yes, it really does affect your hormones. I say that 1 cup of coffee, that's totally great, but more than one can start taxing your liver, dehydrating your body. So we really want to limit that caffeine. If you're having a lot of hormonal health problems, I really try to say dump the caffeine and see how you feel. That can be a hard one because we lean on it so much. But that's one where I think that if you can just limit it, you don't have to get rid of it, or switching over to like green tea is amazing, something like that, because a lot of times it's just the ritual that we miss in the morning, it's the warmth. So if you even just try having lemon water, just boiling some water, pouring it over lemon, which will alkalize your body. I think that that's one of those things where you may not even miss the caffeine, you will just get that warm feeling. So that's one I would give a try. Stress less. So I'm so happy that everybody's here because this is all about self-care this whole few days. And I think that stressing less is so important. Like we, again, are all on the go. So taking just a little bit of time, here, re-energizing yourself, and all the meditation, all the wonderful exercise components that have been going on. This is one of the biggest plays into your hormones. So I would say it raises your cortisol level. And I think that all of us we need a little downtime as well. So anything that you can do, even if it's just 5 minutes a day to just take just a powder. So I like to get up 5 minutes before my household gets up, and just having that 5 minutes where I'm sipping my lemon water, that's like my little time. And I think that that kind of sets the tone for the whole day. If you can incorporate more meditation, fantastic, yoga, anything that's going to give you a little relief from your day. Deep breathing, just breathing, and it's free. And you can do it anywhere. So one thing I like to do if I'm in a stressful situation, I think of just breathing in for 5, inhaling for 5, holding for 5, and then exhaling for 5, and doing that for 5 cycles. That literally will just relax your entire body. So you can actually feel that cortisol level raise when you're in that fight or flight. And we need that. That's something that we need. If a bear was to walk in right now, we would all want to get up and run out the door. But if your body is in that state all the time, it's going to be protecting you, but it's also going to be holding on to weight. It's going to be holding on to stress. And we really want to make sure that we can kind of lower that every single day. So eliminate the toxins from your kitchen and personal care products. So this was a big one. I'm a total beauty, skincare junkie. I love all that stuff. So when I got into the whole detoxification and hormone balance, I was a little bummed to know that a lot of the products I was using were not so healthy. So I like to just say with people, anything that you're using on your body 365 days a year, you really do want to kind of look at the ingredient list and make sure that you're not putting a bunch of toxins on your body. Your skin is your largest organ. We often take that for granted. And that's another one where we just want to make sure that we're cleaning out anything that could possibly be a hormone disruptor. That goes for also in the kitchen with your cleaning products. I also like to switch everything from plastic to glass. So just kind of being aware of that. The Environmental Working Group has a great resource called Skin Deep, where even if you get on your phones, you can find that app, which is...
They changed it to healthy living.
Oh, okay, they changed it to healthy. But it also has a great resource for like clean, healthy living is now the app. But it has where you can scan, like say that you're in the grocery store, you can literally scan a product and see whether or not that it's clean or not, or what the hazard level is. So that's a good resource. And they also have a cleaning product one too that lists off.
I think now it's
all in one.
I think that's
good. So that's another one that's that will affect you. But that is something like deodorant. That's a big one I get asked a lot about. But those are things which I did notice made a big change because I kind of just I cleaned up my diet and, I exercised and I tried to stress less, but I was like, oh, I don't really need to do the product stuff. And I noticed a huge difference with night sweats, with insomnia, when I when I finally said, you know what, you don't need to be doing that. So that's kind of, and I've seen that with some of my clients as well, but just, start out slow. You don't have to go home and throw every product out, but I do say, if you're putting body lotion on, big parts of your body, something that you're using every single day, definitely start there. And then as you get into it, you'll find that you just naturally want to weed out other things. Knowledge is power. Exercise. So this is a big one. I'm also a personal trainer and a yoga instructor. So one thing that I've learned though is your cortisol level, I love to run. But I was finding that I was running and, instead of taking a few pounds off, I was actually putting weight on and kind of wasn't feeling great, and I couldn't figure it out because this was always something that gave me such pleasure. And what I was finding was that that was actually raising my cortisol level and keeping me in that state for longer periods. So I really think that balance is a key, is figuring out the right exercise. So making sure that you're balanced, maybe if you're going to be doing some cardio, doing interval training, shorter bursts of it's amazing for your body. Make sure that you're doing some sort of yoga bar or something like that, that you're not, for all my runners, I don't want you to be worried. If you are a runner, one thing you can do to buffer it is after you come home, take vitamin C, and that will help buffer your cortisol level and bring it down. You had a question? Cortisol is actually a hormone that is emitted. It's one of the many little chemical hormones that is emitted in your body. So there's a couple there's several different hormones that go on, and your cortisol is one of them.
Ideally, you want low cortisol.
Yeah.
And not what you want to have.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just jumping and not that. Another one is upgrade your diet. Upgrading your diet. So this is another one I really am passionate about because it changed my whole life. It changed my hormonal path. I was having a lot of issues, and once I cleaned up my diet, eating, whole foods. Again, I was, did the whole fat-free thing, and I had been eating a lot of processed foods. And once I took those out of my diet and focused on just real food, an apple, not apple chips, or that it really made a huge difference in my energy levels. And figuring out also, some people may have some hidden food sensitivities, which I did not know about. And when I discovered that and was able to take that out of my system for a bit of time, my whole, hormonal kind of balance. I balanced my blood sugars. I was able to lose weight, and I just feel better overall. So a couple of those changes can be making sure that you're eating fewer high-fat animal foods, making sure that they're happy meat, organic, not pumped up with a bunch of hormones, because you will be intaking those hormones as well. Cutting out the stimulants, so sugar, that's a big one. So sugar really is huge. If that's one of your issues, I think that's one to be working on. Again, you don't have to swallow the whole thing, everything on these keys, but sugar would be a good one to work on.
And it's hidden in everything.
Oh my gosh.
As everybody knows,
Yeah.
it's in things you wouldn't think it would be.
I think that when you start writing down and figuring out where I'm like, oh my gosh, from the coffee in the morning to what you had for, for cereal or something like that, it was like, oh my gosh, I've had way so much. Avoid, so caffeine, sugar, alcohol. I know that's a bummer. I'm talking about all the good stuff, especially in Sonoma. Alcohol is just one, again, I think of limiting it, but it definitely, again, will dehydrate your body, but it can also disrupt your sleep. So that's just one where we want to keep, in moderation.
With alcohol, do you have any
like if you are gonna have a little bit, is there a preference of like red or white? Like I heard there's more sugar in white wine, or like, do you have any?
Like champagne, the bubbly stuff is like a very good lower sugar. The bubbly. You like the good bubbly, yeah.
Not Prosecco.
And then I think sometimes like with red wine, some people with the sulfites, depending on, sometimes that can affect them more. So it's really personal. Hard alcohol, vodka, there's ones that are definitely lower sugar. But I just kind of lump them all together because basically alcohol processes in your body as sugar. So that's when I laugh when people are like, but what if a margarita because of the mixers. So I always try to say stay clean, those have a ton of sugar in it and mixed drinks. So keeping your alcohol as simple, as possible. And again, we're here in this wonderful wine country that it's hard for me to be saying. Yeah.
Like other than zero, what would be like what you'd recommend? Like you said, maximum of 1 coffee a day. Like what?
So the funny thing about wine is, there's been so many studies where honestly having a glass a day, but it's a 4-ounce pour. And I don't know about you guys, I wish I had one, but what we actually pour, that was like a big eye opener. So 4 ounces is not very much, but that would be the recommended, that's the serving size. So a visual, it's just funny, a 4 ounce, a 6, and then we always top, how many times it would be like, oh, just top it off, because that didn't really count. I had 1 glass of wine, but maybe I topped it off a few times. So always just trying to keep it to, I would say, 1 4-ounce pour a day. And then also just if with your body, sometimes people like to say, I'm not going to drink during the week, but maybe I'll have it on the weekends because they ends up helping them with their overall sleep. So it's kind of individual. If you're using it as a crutch, like that's another thing is that we often are using coffee first thing in the morning, and then around 3 o'clock we need sugar and carbs, and then in the evening we come back to our wine to relax us. And I think those are the kind of things you want to kind of take a look at and say, do you really need them, or are those a crutch that you're using to like fill a void? And so that kind of goes back to the whole stress, the stress here. Yeah.
With alcohol, it just seems sort of universal with women getting a little bit older.
Yes.
And it's got to be some sort of hormonal imbalance as well with not being able to drink as much. So maybe you have 1 glass of wine and you get no sleep.
Yes.
So I feel like that's...
Like for me, it was like, oh gosh, you kind of had to think okay, do I want to sleep tonight? Because it would affect you become more of a lightweight,
Sure.
Yeah.
You never know.
Exactly.
Well, and the more you clean up your diet, and I know you told me this, the more you clean up your diet, the more of a lightweight you are too.
Well, I always laugh because I do seasonal detoxes with many people, and I always warn them because then we start adding foods back in. And they're like, well, when are we going to be adding the alcohol back in? I didn't see that on your list. And I always tell everybody, like, of course you can have alcohol, but you're going to be a real lightweight for real. And like,
The hangover.
The hangover is like, and so what happens often is that they will have, add the alcohol, but then maybe the pizza as well. Like it's a whole big thing, and they, text me, oh my God, it's the worst hangover in my whole life. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I keep on hitting that. But yes, you will be, the cleaner your diet is, you're going to become, I think it's a good thing, because then you can really savor that glass of wine. I think that's the good thing, is just savoring that piece of chocolate. Oh, chocolate really quick. That is a good hormonal balance. I actually recommend 1 ounce of dark chocolate, 77 or 75% and above. But that actually helps you. So that's one thing I do like to share is, yes, eat that good chocolate because that will set off endorphins and it will help you balance your hormones. So that's a good one. Yeah. And so this is where you have fun. The higher you can get, the better. I've tried 100%. That's a little bit like, woo. Cacao nibs are amazing, but definitely chocolate's a good one. So we got to keep that in. let's see, eat foods that are rich in fatty acids. So your flax seeds, pumpkin seeds are loaded with magnesium, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, fish. And then I also put in here some hormone balancing foods for everybody. Just wondering how my time is going over there.
I think, I mean, I know there's a lot of specific questions.
Yeah. Good.
If anybody has questions they want to be asked.
Yes.
Do you have maca?
Yes. Maca. Okay, so maca is a root. It's a supplement, and I love maca for many reasons. But it also, for anybody with suffering from low libido and everything, that will help boost your libido. But it helps balance your hormones, and it's very. It gives you a lot of energy. So it is, you can put it in your smoothies. It smells like butterscotch. And you can get, do you know that Navida's Natural brand? They sell maca, or if you go to the health food store, Whole Foods, just ask for maca. You can get it in a supplement where you can take it as a pill, but I often just put it in a smoothie. And I have a really good smoothie. I think I'll get everybody's email, but I have like an amazing maca milkshake that tastes like a milkshake that everybody must know about. Yeah. Yeah.
I take a lot of my vitamins at night just because that's when I remember.
Yeah.
Can you take maca at night? Because I've taken it and I am taking it because I just had a baby.
Yes.
And I find that sometimes it like kind of
It would.
revs me up a
It
little.
definitely revs
Okay.
you up, and I've had clients where honestly it made their hearts, I would be like, when I put things down I get a little worried because everybody can be affected differently, but maca is one where, you know, someone felt so energetic that their heart was kind of palpitating, so I would not take it at night. I would think of it as a morning supplement, but the rest of most of them you can take at night. Like When You Remember is great, but that's one I would probably say, yeah, because you probably didn't sleep well that night.
Good to know.
So what do you get from G3? You're not supposed to take maca at night. Anyone else? Yeah, Lisa.
Abby, talk about, because you taught me about magnesium at night and also coconut oil at night.
Yes.
I just wanted to-
So magnesium is one of my favorites, especially when we are suffering from sleep. So I love magnesium. It helps you on many levels, but it calms your system down. It helps regulate your bowels. But I suggest there's a calm drink that is just a powdered magnesium product that you can take at night. It's like, you can find it in the grocery store, but it kind of slightly bubbly, and you take it before bed. I don't recommend taking it during the day because it really knocks me out. Like I feel really tired. But that was something that I would definitely recommend for sleeping. Another one that I do during detox is actually, everybody thinks this one's a little weird, but ingesting about half a tablespoon of coconut oil before bed. I would think I was talking to someone earlier about this. But when we go to bed, your body actually needs some energy to be working off during the night. So having coconut oil before bed I've used it with several of my hormonal clients, and it can really help you sleep through the night. And it just, I think I've tried it personally. I've had a lot of people try it, but do you think that it helped you? It's really good for your thyroid, and it's healing.
A little bee pollen on it.
Yeah. So the bee pollen isn't, yeah.
Yeah, you get used to, it's similar to the apple cider vinegar in water. At first it's like, ew, and then a thing with coconut oil. Is it true that turmeric is more active if you combine it with coconut oil? Coconut oil
and also a spice. So black pepper, cayenne, like you'll see them. So you definitely, to make it more active, black pepper, cayenne. So I have like a little Bliss detox drink that we add turmeric.
And coconut oil.
Yeah.
Or a spice.
Yes.
So a coconut oil and a spice?
A spice at least.
Yep.
And then if you do the coconut oil, you're
Okay. So cinnamon and turmeric?
you can definitely do that.
Does that work?
Oh yeah, that'd be, I mean,
Okay.
it's good.
Anyone else?
What about turmeric tablets then?
Turmeric tablets?
Yes, that's, you know what, those are going to work totally great. I think, we always think of fresh first, but, let's be real, we might not be having that. So I would definitely add that. It's so anti-inflammatory. That's the one thing. Thinking of your diet as a more anti-inflammatory in general is going to help you balance your hormones. So, and as we reduce any inflammation in the body, that's going to help. So I highly recommend turmeric.
But if you take a tablet though, should you take a scoop of coconut oil or is
You
that, does that
can't,
work that
you
way?
could do that, definitely. And I would think of, like you said, activating with a spice. So if you see a lot of juices that actually have turmeric in it, they're going to have a cayenne or black pepper in it to make sure that curcumin is activated.
I personal opinion is nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
Yes.
And I love chocolate, I love bread, I love wine, and I do it all. But when you really tap into how good it feels to feel healthy, it ends up really not being that hard to make better decisions and to use all of those treat things in a more moderate way. So it's also, I think I said it the day before yesterday, it's experimenting because what's right for you is different than what's right for me.
Yes.
I know chia affects a lot of people, as we talked about,
Yeah.
and it works for some, and maca affects. So it's really also about going on your own personal sort of investigation,
I think
experience.
Biohacking yourself, like figuring out the things that work. Like that's the fun part about my job is we put our detective hats on and work together to figure out, what's going to work for you. Anyway, it's trial and error. So I mean, it's also going to ebb and flow. So once you think you got it greatly figured out, something else might shift. And just being open that, you really can be your advocate for your health and,
And back to the exercise and the stress, if you're in a very stressful place in your life and you are doing exercise that is highly stressful, meaning cardio, running, kickboxing, that's defeating the purpose of exercise. If you're in a very calm place in your life, to add some of that higher cardio or stressful type exercise is a balancing act.
It's so hard because that's one of the ones when they come in and I know they're like, I'm doing boot camp 5 days a week and I can't figure this out, and and having to tell someone that their beloved boot camp, which is a community-based thing, saying, you know what, we gotta pull back on that because it's not doing you any help, and you're seeing that in your body.
And your body doesn't know like the difference between a car accident and
No.
stressful exercise. The bottom line is it's just going to go into that fight or flight
Exactly.
place.
Yeah. Love that.
Anybody else?
So, okay, 2 questions. What do you recommend if it's a stressful time in your life to get some cardio in and or get or to
So you
get
could
the
do cardio, but short bursts.
Okay.
Okay, so interval training, 20, 30 minutes, that's fantastic. And then that's going to be a shorter thing, but making sure that you balance, you don't do that every single day. So I would say, or something balanced the same day, 20 minutes of your cardio, and then doing something more contemplative like yoga or meditation. Walking,
Hiking. Cardio in the sense that it's like we don't think about it as a cardio. But
Yeah,
like it's
walking is one of the,
meditative, but also active.
and nature therapy. Like I honestly think walking, it's not just, you're getting exercise, but you're out in the world. And to me, the nature therapy, anytime you can be outside, like that is, it just automatically is going to bring.
Anyone else? And then the importance of lean body mass in the maintenance of hormones, right?
Yes.
And light-bearing weights.
Yeah, exactly. So again, my cardio junkies, that's where I'm always like, we got to do strength training, and especially at a certain age, that becomes more important than the cardio. So the cardio, we love it so much because it sets off endorphins and makes us get that high. But we really need to lift the weights because the leaner your body mass is, it's going to definitely help balance those hormones. So, and you can definitely, like bar is fantastic. You're using light weights. It doesn't have to be, I think people think of strength training as just the bulking yourself up, and it really doesn't have to be that way at all. So that's another really important one.
And then I personally think our society is way too focused on weight versus how you feel and how your hair is growing, your nails, your skin, and then the rest sort of happens naturally.
And especially when you're talking about when you're having a nice combination of a balanced workout as well, people's weight might not reflect on the scale, but their body will be changing. And that's something that's very hard for a lot of people, but some people muscle weighs more than fat. So you may the scale may be higher, but you know what, you'll feel it in your clothes and see it in your eyes and your skin. And I think you can really tell a lot by that. And gut health is another huge, if you're eliminating properly and all of that, that's another sign of good health. So we really want to make sure that that's part of we can talk about poop now.
Exactly. What's your poop look like?
Yeah.
Anyone else? No? Are you one of?
The other couple things, the healthy spices, cinnamon. That's the blood balancing. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, cayenne, cumin are all great for your liver and hormonal health. Your liver health overall, that's where I go back to detox, but honestly, that keeps your hormones happy. So just again, cleaning up that diet. Drinking lemon water upon waking. If there's one thing I can always tell people to do is before you do anything in the morning, before that 1 cup of coffee, please just have water, just hydrate. I want you to think about you've been fasting all night long, and so a lot of times we get up in the morning and then instead of hydrating our body what it needs, we're giving it a stimulant with caffeine first thing. So just have a glass of water first and then you can have your coffee, but that's really important. Exercise daily. Dandelion tea is really great for your liver function. Green juice to alkalize the body. And then Epsom salt bath, that's another way to magnesium. And that's it. I put a couple recipes. You have a couple recipes to go along in your packet as well. And then I will send out that maca milkshake because it really needs, you guys have to try it.